Hine ma tovum anayim, shevet ahim gam yahad. Hine ma tovum anayim, shevet ahim gam yahad. Hine ma tov, shevet ahim gam yahad. Hine ma tov, shevet ahim gam yahad. Hine ma tovum anayim, shevet ahim gam yahad. Hine ma tovum anayim, shevet ahim gam yahad. Shabbat shalom, everyone. Our rabbi and our cantor are on vacation right now. I don't know if they're still traveling, but let's all pray they don't have seats on Southwest Airlines, and God made it for them to get on another airlines. If you don't like the service tonight, my name is Herman, and please let everybody know what a terrible job I did. But actually, I'm a lay person. My name is Michael Hudson, and I really enjoy leading lay services when I get the opportunity, and I feel very honored to be able to be here this evening. But I do want this to be an interactive service. I want folks, I'm going to read a Devor Torah to you. These are my thoughts as a layperson, and I want to hear everyone else's thoughts. So I've had some people join in with leading some of the prayers tonight, and if anybody else says, hey, you know, I want to join in and lead a prayer, that's fine too. So what I want us to do, I want you to join me on a journey tonight, and it's a journey called Shabbat. Jews around the world are saying a blessing over candles tonight, a symbol of warmth. Jews around the world are saying a prayer over wine tonight, a symbol of joy. But Shabbat is more than warmth and joy. Tonight, Jews around the world are reciting the Shema, an affirmation of the oneness of God. During this Shabbat, Jews around the world are reading from the Torah, a book that never officially appears on the bestseller list of the New York Times, but it is inscribed in the hearts of Jews around the world. Jews will laugh as they celebrate Simchas and hold back tears as they rise for the mourner's Kaddish. And whether each of us is celebrating a Simcha or facing a Suris, we know that the Jewish community stands with us. And Sur Yisrael, the rock of Israel, our God, stands with us. More than Jews have kept Shabbat, Shabbat has kept the Jews. I invite you all tonight to join me in the beginning of a journey called Shabbat. And as we begin our services this evening, I would like to call upon Louise Lerner to do the lighting over the candles, and that you'll find that on page 2 of your prayer book. Louise, you'll come over here.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, אשר קידשנו במצוותיו וציוונו להדליק נר של שבת. אמן. Thank you. תודה רבה.
Next will be our Kiddush, and I'll ask Carol Sieben to lead the Kiddush at this time, and you'll find the Kiddush on page 5 of your prayer books.
Everybody, please stand. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kadsho, v'ahava uvratzon, hinchilanu, zikaron lema'aseh v'reshit, ki hu yom tefilah למקרא קודש, זכר ליציאת מצרים. כי באנו בחרת, ואותנו קידשת, מן כל העמים. בשבת קודשך, באהבה וברצון, הנחלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני, מקדש השבת. Amen. L'chaim. Michael, you drink? I'm not drinking. Shabbat shalom.
Everyone may be seated at this time. And I'll ask everyone to turn to page 9. And we will have responsive reading. I'll ask everyone to read responsively. I always get concerned when I see the word responsively. I always think I'm going to say responsibly. So actually, I think both apply. Be responsible with what you're reading and be responsive at the same time. So at the top of page 9, and I will be the leader, and then the congregation will join. There are days when we seek things for ourselves and measure failure by what we do not gain. On Shabbat, we seek not to acquire, but to share. There are days when we exploit nature as if it were a horn of plenty that can never be exhausted. On Shabbat, we stand in wonder before the mystery of creation. There are days when we act as if we cared nothing for the rights of others. On Shabbat, we remember that justice is our duty and the bread of the world our goal. So we embrace Shabbat, day of rest, day of wonder, and day of peace. And is that Randy over there? Would you like to lead some of the songs? Would you like to? Thank you so much. So would you like to lead us in Lajado D, which is on page 20? If you'd like to come up, that'd be great. On top of page 20, Lajado D. Yeah, it's right. Okay. Thank you.
Lekad odi lekrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabelat, Lekad odi lekrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabelat. Lekad odi Lekadodi legrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lekadodi legrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'kor b'yadur echad, Hishamur ham yochad, Adonai echad, Ushemo echad, Tashem ufre v'chid hila, Lecha dodi, Lekrakala, Pnei Shabbat nega, Lekadodi legrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lechat Shabbat lekuvenecha, Ki mekor hebaracha, Merosh mikadem nisucha, Sof maseh becha shavat tekila, Lecha dodi, Lecha dodi legrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela, Lecha dodi legrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Mikdash melakit mulcha, Kumitzi metov tafecha, Rav lach shaver bek makabacha, Vehu yav kol achritikhem la. Lecha dodi, Lekadodi legrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lekadodi legrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela.
Ninth verse. Will everyone please stand and face the door as we sing the ninth verse?
Boi v'shalom atarat bala, Gam b'simcha u'b'torhala, Tochenu ne'ama segula, Boi chala, Lecha dodi, Lecha dodi legrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi legrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela.
Thank you, Randy. Without any warning, he did that so well. It just really puts us in the mood for Shabbat. And everyone may be seated at this time. So, in the Jewish service, we have kind of preliminary areas, and then we have, as we move into the main part of our service, and the word Kaddish is usually used for completion. So when you finish reading a book, when you finish at a particular part of the service, you could have different forms of the Kaddish. And certainly we're familiar with the mourner's Kaddish when we remember those who have left us. And now I'm going to call on Hermit Barnathan to lead us in a Hatzi Kaddish. And as we move into the formal part of our service, and you will find that on page 26. And I think traditionally we do not stand for this one, if I'm remembering. So page 26. Do you need it? Okay. Okay, then if you have it, then I'll. Okay.
Yitgadal v'yitgadal shemei Rabbah B'yama divrach rote v'yamlech malkute B'chayechon uvyomechon Uv'kayed kol bet Yisrael Bagala Uvizman karif V'himeru Amen. Yehesh merabam mevorach le'alam ulam meholmaya yitborach v'yistabak v'yitparach v'yichroman v'yitnaseh v'yirhada v'yirhaleh v'yirhalal shemei l'chudasha berichu Leilal min kol beruchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata damiran bi'alma v'himeru Amen.
We will now ask everyone to turn to page 28 as we rise for the Barahu. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. La 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 la. Ya la 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 ya la 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 la. La 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 la. Baruch et Adonai Hamevorach. Baruch Adonai Hamevorach. Hamevorach le'olam va'ed. Hamevorach, Hamevorach, le'olam va'ed. If you can remain standing and turn to page 31, and we'll be reading in English at the top of the page. Praise to you, Adonai our God, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way on which time and season glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars, creator of the time and light. You guide the current of day into night. As heavens set the course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai our God, from whom the evening flows. Adonai, Avavi. And let us remain standing as we turn to page 34 for the Shema, the watchword of our faith. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Ehad. Hear, O Israel, Adonai is our God, Adonai is one. Baruch Shem Kavod Malchuto Leolam Vayed. Blessed is God's glorious majesty forever and ever. You may be seated. And let us all join in the Via Hafta. And Randy, did you want to join me on this one? Okay. We're going to do this, the Debbie Friedman version, as Thou Shalt Love the Lord our God. You'll find it. It's not the exact version, but you'll find the basic words on page 36. And thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, with all thy soul, and with all thy might. And these words which I command you on this day shall be in thy heart, shall be in thy heart. And thou shalt teach them diligently unto thy children. And thou shalt speak of them when thou sittest in thy house, when thou walkest by the way, and when thou risest up, and when thou risest down, and when thou risest down. And thou shalt bind them for a sign upon thy hand, and they shall be for frontlets between thine eyes. And thou shalt write them on the doorpost of thy house, and upon thy gates, and upon thy gates, that you may remember and do all of my commandments, and be holy unto your God, unto your God, unto your God. Please join me in responsive reading at the bottom of page 39. In a world torn by violence and pain, a world far from wholeness and peace, give us the courage to say, Adonai, there is one God in heaven and earth. The high heavens declare your glory. May earth reveal your justice and love. From bondage in Egypt, we were delivered. At Sinai, we bound ourselves to your way. Inspired by prophets and instructed by sages, time and time again, you overcame oppressive forces. Though our failings are many and our faults are great, it has been our glory to bear witness to our God, keeping alive in dark ages your vision of a world redeemed. Let us continue to work for the day when the nations will be one and at peace. Then shall we rejoice as Israel with singing and shall deceive. Mi hamoha ba'alim Adonai, mi kamoha nirdar b'kodesh, nora tehilot osefela. Who is like you, O God, among the gods that are worshipped? Who is like you, majestic in holiness, awesome in splendor, working wonders? Mi hamoha ba'alim Adonai, mi kamoha nehedar b'kodesh, nora tehilot osefele, kamoha ba'elim Adonai. Mi kamoha nerdar bar kodesh. Okay. Okay, please join me at the very top of page 43. Hashkivenu. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up waiting to do your will. Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sakat shalom, aleinu v'al amo Yisrael, v'al Yerushalayim. And next we will please turn to page 44 for Vashamra. The people of Israel shall keep the Shabbat, observing Shabbat throughout the ages as a covenant for all time. For it is a sign for all time between me and the people of Israel. For in 6 days Adonai made heaven and earth, and on the seventh day he ceased from work and was refreshed. So the word Shabbat is used as a verb, Shabbat, v'yinafash, and a lot of people say that means rested. And I remember Rabbi Mallory used to say, it's not that God rested, God enjoyed the earth that was created. So Shabbat is more than just sleeping, getting on the pillows and enjoying a rest. It's more enjoying that world. And I feel that God wants us to enjoy the world that was created for us. So let's sing a song for Vashamru. Vashamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asod et ha-Shabbat ledoratam berit olam. Beni uvein b'nei Yisrael oti le'olam, oti le'olam, oti le'olam. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asod et ha-Shabbat ledoratam berit olam. Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai, asa Adonai, et hashamayim v'et haaretz, v'shamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asod et ha-Shabbat ledoratam berit olam. Uvayom hashvi'i v'shat v'yinafash, Shabbat v'yinafash, Shabbat v'yinafash, v'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asod et ha-Shabbat ledoratam berit olam. One more time. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asod et ha-Shabbat ledoratam berit olam. And I did mention this is going to be an interactive service. And there's another person who has a great voice too, and that's Diana Houtman. And I'm wondering if you wouldn't mind thinking of a good closing song and leading it. Would you mind doing that at the end of the service? Okay. All right. All right. So we need somebody to, no, that's not good. I'm sorry, that's a little bit further on. So we're going to ask everyone to stand now, and I'm going to ask Therese Atias to come up and lead us in the Amidah, and that you'll find that starting at page 46. And once we've concluded as a congregation praying together, remember the Amidah is a standing prayer for us to pray together as a congregation. Each of us as individuals will have an opportunity to pray on our own. And there are some pages following that you can use. So, Therese, thank you for yeah. But you skip. No, you don't do that. Let's see. I'm sorry. Yeah, you do. Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. This is
Okay. Hanananananana Adonai Hananananana Sfatai Tiftach Hananananana Ufi Yagid Tehillatecha Hananananana Adonai Hananananana Sfatai Tiftach Hananananana Ufi Yagid Tehillatecha Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Ve'Elohei Avotenu V'Imotenu Elohei Abraham Elohei Yitzhak Ve'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel Ve'Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor Ve'Hanora El Elyon Gomel Hasadim Tovim Ve'Koneh Hakol Ve'Zocher Hasdei Avot Ve'Imahot Umevi Geula Livnei Bneihem Lema'an Shemo Be'ava Melech Ozer Umoshia Umagen Baruch Atah Adonai Magen Avraham Be'ezrat Sarah אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיה הכל אתה רב להושיע. מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיה הכל ברחמים רבים. סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים. ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות ומי דומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני מחיה הכל.
Yasher Koach. And as each one finishes their silent prayer, they Prayer invites God's presence to suffuse our spirits, God's will to prevail in our lives. Prayer may not bring water to parched fields, nor mend a broken bridge, nor rebuild a ruined city. But prayer can water an arid soul. It can mend a broken heart and rebuild a weakened will. I ask everyone to turn now to page 253, and we will begin our Mishaberak prayer. 253. Mishaberak avotenu ve'imotenu Avraham, Yitzhak, ve'Yaakov, Sarah, Rivka, Rahel, Leah. May the one who blessed our ancestors Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebekah, Rachel, and Leah, bless and heal those who are ill that we will be naming today. May the Blessed One be filled with compassion for their health to be restored and their strength to be revived. May God swiftly send them a complete renewal of body and spirit. And let us all say, Amen. It is now time for us to call out the names of those who need our prayers. We will be singing the Mishaberak prayer that's written by Debbie Friedman. And I will move my hand around the room, and as I move it past you, please call out the name of those that need our prayers. Mishaberak havotenu mikor habraha limotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mishaberak imotenu mekor habraha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. I had a situation that caused me to struggle spiritually recently. I created a Facebook group several years ago after my father died so that people could pay tributes to him. Well, recently, someone with the same first and last name of my father wanted to join this tribute group. My father happened to have been Black, and this person appeared to be white. I looked into his page more to determine more about him, to see if he was maybe a third cousin or something. We had no shared friends, and I noticed he had no Black friends. He was heavily tattooed, and he had a very angry look at his face. He also had a middle finger raised to the camera when he took his profile picture. Most of his friends had tattoos, including the women. I'm not trying to be funny there. And they looked angry, and some of them had their middle fingers extended with their profile pictures as well. I thought, what an angry group of people this guy hangs out with. I scrolled down further on his page and found a picture of him with his angry friends. They were holding up signs. One of the signs had the letters SS on it, and the other had a Nazi symbol. And he wanted to join my father's page. He posted a couple of videos by black rappers, so I thought maybe this was some kind of Halloween stunt or something. I was trying to figure it out. I scrolled down further and found a picture of him wearing a t-shirt that said, "Proud Aryan." And he had an arsenal of weapons behind him. At that point, I think I figured it out. No matter how hard I tried, this was a Nazi. I had to accept the fact that if his friends met me, they'd probably have both of their middle fingers raised up because I'm black and Jewish. So I struggled with my response. At that moment, I had the ability to react, to send this person a message. Should I say, hell no, and then fill the page with profanities directed toward him? Should I tell him what kind of man my father was? By the way, my father was someone who believed in repentance. He was a person, before he died, he told me that he was working with the YMCA group, and one of the young men he worked with drew a weapon and pointed at another young man. My father stood between them, and he said, "I don't want to have to call the police on you." And he never did. So he helped that guy reform. And I knew this guy was not that kind of person. Should I have shared that with him in my response to him? Should I have been angry? I was not angry. I was, first of all, very surprised, but I was also thinking, how could someone have so much hate in their heart where they want to post angry pictures for the world to see? Should I forgive him for his hateful views? Maybe he's just someone who does that on the weekends, but never really hurts people. Should I kindly say, I think you're looking for a different group. I think this is not the person you're looking for. Well, luckily, Rabbi Shapiro's favorite Torah portion is via Gash, which is this week's Torah portion. And you'll find that Genesis 44:18 to 47:27. And I'm sorry, Genesis 44:18, 47. I think I have an extra colon here. So there's a lot going on in this Torah portion. It really is a good Torah portion, but I'm going to focus on just one thing that was going on there. We have Joseph, who was treated badly by his own brothers. How badly? They sold him into slavery. I wonder how that family reunion went. In this Torah portion, Joseph reunites with his brothers. These are the same brothers who sold him into slavery. So he's reuniting with them. He had a great opportunity to say things about how upset he was at them. Tell them what terrible people, make them apologize. But after seeing his brothers, who, by the way, did not recognize him, he did something different. He said to them, "I am Joseph. Is my father still well?" And then he kissed his brothers and wept with them after being sold to slavery by these same people. And he forgave his brothers without them even asking. I must admit, this Torah portion challenged my views on forgiveness. I learned that someone must ask for forgiveness before that person is forgiven. This Torah portion actually raises more questions for me than it provides answers. And here Joseph gives his brothers without even asking them for forgiveness. Rabbi Abraham Twersky, in his commentary, provides this explanation. Joseph maneuvered the situation so that his brothers were in a position where they would be tempted to repeat their offense against him. Benjamin had taken Joseph's place as their father's favorite. The brothers' readiness to sacrifice their lives in order to return Benjamin to their father indicated that they had overcome their envy against Joseph and that they eliminated the character defect of jealousy. They would now not merely be forgiven, but also proud of their growth, and their self-esteem would be preserved. How many people agree with that assessment? I think, honestly, I have a little trouble with that. But I do appreciate, obviously, the wisdom of the rabbis. So Rabbi Karen Cater had a different answer. Forgiveness is a complex process. We are never obligated to condone bad behavior. When an act or word or manipulation or an offense comes our way, we are not compelled to say, "Oh, that's okay, never mind." Forgiveness does not always lead to reconciliation. Sometimes when a relationship is difficult, hostile, or not supportive, toxic even, we can forgive and get out of the way, not because our offender deserves it, but because we do. And we don't have to forgive and forget. Yet, despite the complexities, intricacies, and difficulties and lingering anger, it is best to find our way to forgiveness. Forgiveness is the gift we give to ourselves. We begin to release the anger and resentment that take up so much space in the territory of our own spirit. With forgiveness, we begin the long process of healing. Whenever possible and appropriate, it is better to live with softness and harshness, to let go rather than to clench, and to open our hearts to the beauty of the world. This is what Joseph chooses, according to Rabbi Cater. It is the famine that brings his brothers to Joseph's court in Egypt, but it's the forgiveness that brings the hearts of the brothers together. Rabbi Edwin Goldberg had a different perspective as well. And what I do when I lead services, I go through rabbis, and then I see their perspectives on different things. And then I give my views, and then I'm going to open this up for other thoughts as well. So this is a view from Edwin Goldberg. Used to be at Temple Israel of Hollywood. That's where I've actually met him. So his choosing forgiveness over retribution does not mean Joseph had a lack of passion. Joseph mirrored the sentiment that an earlier sage, sometimes identified as Buddha, would later utter. Holding on to anger is like grasping a hot coal with the intent of throwing it at someone else. But you're the one who gets burned. What Joseph models is a refusal to allow those evildoers any power over his life. Instead of permitting the resulting anger to destroy him, thus compounding the damage already done to him, he refuses to allow anger to take over his life and define his actions. He does not lose control over his emotions, but more importantly, he retains control over his entire life. Anger and fear do not direct his actions. He is able to choose how to respond to his brothers. He puts anger behind him and offers them new life. The book of Proverbs tells us, "Rejoice not when your enemy fails, and let not your heart be glad when he stumbles." If your enemy is hungry, give him bread to eat. If he is thirsty, give him water to drink. Simon Wiesenthal, in his book, The Sunflower, as a prisoner in a Nazi concentration camp, tells how a dying Nazi soldier asked for his forgiveness for the terrible thing the soldier did to Jews. Wiesenthal held the soldier's hand, listened to a story, then he walked away in silence. He couldn't forgive the man. He also couldn't live in peace with the decision not to forgive him. Imagine this, a Nazi who asked his forgiveness, and he had trouble with that. He basically wrote a book, and he asked a lot of different clergy and people around the country to give him how he should have dealt with that. And so he decided to seek out the soldier's mother and tell his mother that the guy asked for forgiveness. But he felt true the concept that he could not forgive on the behalf of those who died in the Holocaust. But he did want to, his thoughts were why should this innocent mother be punished for her son's bad deeds? So that was how he dealt with that. We get some advice also from the Pirkei Avot, from Rabbi Nathan, who is mighty, he who makes an enemy of a friend. I believe that part of reaching to the answer of when to forgive is to engage in the struggle. And that's what I'm going to leave you with. I think Judaism gives us questions, not always the answers, but there are questions because we are about struggling. And I think of Jacob, I think of Isaac. I'm sorry, is it Isaac who becomes Israel, right? And that was a struggle with God. And sometimes I hear that translated as thriving with God, fighting with God. But the key thing to me is not how you characterize it, whether you call it struggling or striving or fighting. It's that you're saying with God as opposed to against God. So God is helping us in that struggle, not working against us, but with us to find the answer. And the answer is not always going to be the same for all of us, but it's important that we take the time to really think about the situation and go through the struggle. We should be looking at our choices. We should be looking at the consequences, including how taking a particular action affects us as an individual. We know that the word Israel means to struggle with God, not to struggle against God. For the ability to let go and enjoy life is more important to living with pain. Kin Yehi Ratzon, may this be God's will. Well, let's all say amen. And before we move on, I did want to get some thoughts on this. Am I right? Am I wrong? Or were you looking for an answer? Go ahead. Thank you.
To set things up for you. Oh God, if I can remember. I think that Joseph was sent to his position so he could eventually become the vizier and save the family and save, of course, then Israel and the family of Israel eventually. But I think it's like being able to see the big picture. I mean, you're mad at the time it happens or hurt or you're angry. But like you said, if you can forgive, find a place in your heart to forgive, then sometimes things are done for a reason that you don't see until later with perspective.
I see forgiveness as accepting an apology that hasn't been given.
So you don't require an apology, right?
You envision the apology and you accept the envisioned apology, even if it doesn't show up materially.
All right, thank you. I'll take that. Okay, over here.
Somehow letting go just gives you freedom, and freedom is a way to happiness.
Where's this? There's some over here? Okay.
You know, Joseph was a tzaddik, but he also was very human. When his brothers first came, he threw them into jail for 3 days. He was only in the pit, whatever, for a few hours, but why did he keep them there for 3 days? You know, was he working out his anger? Was he trying to punish them? Was he just thinking it was an attitude adjustment? You know, it's interesting that he did put them in jail, kept them there, and then kept testing them. You know, sent them back with the money in their pouches and his special cup in their pouches, and he accused them of being spies. That's when he put them in jail. He was not. I don't know that he was ready to forgive in the beginning, and that's sort of like, well, me or us, like very human. Um, s- and then I think he found his way to forgive them, but he tested to make sure they had become like better people first. So I thought that was kind of a human path.
Thank you, everybody, for your different answers. We have one more.
I had a situation similar to what Lewis described with a family member who lives abroad, and we had a family weekly Zoom, and he took offense about something that I said, which I really didn't intend any offense, and I told him that, but he kind of got miffy and said some really hurtful things and dropped out of the chat. And then after a couple of months, one day he just emailed and said, "Oh, are you guys still doing the weekend Zoom?" And I just decided that's the best I'm going to get from him. You know, he's not going to say, "I was an idiot and I'm sorry," but he's indicating that he wants to reconnect with us. And I was able to let it go, and I felt good about that.
We have one question, then I'm going to cut it off. People at YouTube are wondering what we're doing.
I don't know if I missed something or not, but what did you finally decide to do about the guy?
I was afraid someone was going to ask that. Only because I don't want this to be the right answer, because I think it's something. First of all, I would say it was a real struggle. Some people are saying, "What's the big deal?" You know, it's like, you do what you're going to do, and but it was something I struggled with. My final thing, what I did was to block him from the group, blocked him, because I said, how would I feel if I reached out and said, "My father's this and that," and then he responded with Nazi hate. And I don't think I would have felt good about that. But there was a side of me that said, if I could go to someone hateful and say something that could soften their hearts, you know, I would have done something. So I did something, I cut it off, but at the same time, it's not something where I feel I did the right thing particularly, because I've heard of people that see people that are hateful and they are proactive about going after those folks and showing them a different way. And I didn't do that. So that's the reason I didn't share with you earlier, because I would love to have someone come up and say, how do you do that? How do you make the world a better place? Because I think all of as Jews, I think it's important that we're involved in Tikkun Olam, this heal the world. I don't feel like I did that. I don't think so that was how I did it. But I would love to hear someone who's dealt with a hateful person and maybe move the pendulum over a little bit. I mean, it doesn't work out at a Hallmark movie where you, I never figure that out. You know, you have a rich doctor and then you marry a woodsman, but everything's okay even though he doesn't have a job. But yeah, it works out in Hallmark, it works out on TV, but in reality, we have to look at where we are. I didn't want to give that person any other information about my family in case he was a dangerous person. So I just said, let me block him so he won't see it anymore. So that's how I dealt with it. Thank you, everybody, for your input. I think I grow from this. I really enjoy leading these services because I learn from you, and everyone has been very kind and has contributed. I would now like to call up Kathy Pinso, our president, who would like to officially welcome you on behalf of the Board of Trustees.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Thank you for being here for our last service of 2022. Is there anyone here for the first time? Not tonight. Okay. Well, I want to thank you, Michael, for leading us. It was really wonderful, and I loved having all the interaction and participation and thought-provoking Devar Torah. And I want to say hello to everybody on YouTube. And I want to thank Louise for lighting the candles, and for Carol for leading us in the Kiddush, and Randy for your leading us in song, and Herman and Therese. I think I got everybody. And Diana's going to lead us in our closing song. And we have a new year coming up, and we're going to be celebrating our 70th year. And we have a kickoff event. If you're interested, on January 9th, you can read about it in our bulletin. We're having a disco gala on May 6th. And we have other events planned throughout the year to celebrate our 70th. And I want to thank Sisterhood for sponsoring our oneg this evening. And I want to wish all of you a happy and a healthy new year. Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you, Kathy. Could I ask for 2 volunteers to open and close the ark for the Elena? Yes, 2 people. 1 for each door. All right, thank you. And I'll ask everyone who is able to please stand for the Elena. You'll find that on page 282. Aleinu l'shabeach li'adon ha'kol, Atei kula b'ritereshi, shelo asanu k'yerot, velo samanu k'mishmo ha'aluma, shelo sam kelkenu kahim, v'kor aleinu k'kol ha'olam. V'nahaknu korim, u'mishtahabim u'modim, lifnei melech mahei Elohim, hakadosh baruch hu. V'ne'emar, v'haya Adonai, v'melech al kol ha'aretz, v'yom hahu, yeh Adonai echad, u'shemo, u'shemo, u'shemo echad. You may be seated, everyone. Tell me your life. You're old and growing feeble, and your greatness is masked by pain. But the day you leave me, your memories will still remain. Tell me your life. Tell me how you endured the years, and the wisdom you leave me will help soothe all of my fears. I'll recite the Kaddish. I'll seek comfort from my friends. They too have lost family. With their help, time will mend. To bless God will be hard, anger easier than praise. Anger will turn to sadness, and I'll fear facing new days. But we've promised a small, still voice, the comfort that comes from above. I'll make it through this with assurance of God's love. So tell me your life as a still, small voice assures me. Painful memories will become comfort, shared wisdom for all to see. Our thoughts now turn to those departed from our earth our own loved ones, those whom our friends and neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people whose graves are unmarked, and those of every race and nation whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. As we remember them, we meditate on the meaning of love and loss and on life of death. And we will be reading the Mourner's Cottage, which you will find on 294. We want to remember those who we've lost recently during the period of Shiloshim. I'm remembering Tobian Mandel, Sumner Feldman. Is there anyone who's lost someone who's still in the period of Shiloshim, the first 30 days after death? Okay. And remember those we've lost in seasons past, beginning those who are commemorated on our yahrzeit board at the back of the temple. We start with Mendel Aaron, Isidore Blumen, Dorothy Davidson, Goldie Geffner, Saul Geffner, Abraham Graff, Jack Greenberg, Karen Kahan, Alexander Canner, Martin Miller, Hyman Sederoff, Blanche Seekoff, Jacob C. Swimmer, and Nathan Vogel. We also remember the following persons: Henry Barak, Samuel Brandis, Ruth Breslow, Helen Ellis, Sidney Feldmar, Marilyn Gould, Jeanette Grossman, Mary Josephson, Stan Kaltman, Herman Karp, Thomas Cass, Lewis Kent, Bess King, Dora Knopf, Howard Cunin, Barney Mann, Leon Namias, Nathan Ostrin, Rebecca Penso, Harriet Rosenberg, William Rosenberg, Lillian Ruthberg, Ernest Saches, Ruth Saperstein, Thelma Shatsky, Helen Sofer, Alice Vance, Rose Wagner, Isaac Wodowski. Is there anyone else who's recognizing a yahrzeit this evening where we have not mentioned a name? Okay, I'm going to ask everyone to please stand at this time and turn to page 294. I'm going to ask Herman Barnathan to lead the Mourner's Cottage.
Please join in on page 294. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei Rabbah, v'yamad yivrachirote v'yamlich malkute, v'chayechon u'vyomechon, v'kaye dekol beit Yisrael, v'hagalah uzman karif imru, amen. Yehi shmei Rabbah nevarach, le'olam u'me'omaya, yitvarach v'yishtabach, v'yitparav v'yitnoman v'yitnaseh, Yihada, Yihalev, Yihalal, Shemei Chudasha, Berichu, Leilam and Kal, Birachata, Vashirata, Dushbachata, Venechamata, Damiran, Bialma, Vihimru, Amen. Yehi Shlema Rabba Min Shemaya, the Chaim Aleinu, Ve'al Kol Yisrael, Vimru, Amen. Osei Shalom Bimorav, Uyasei Shalom, Aleinu, Ve'al Kol Yisrael, V'himru, amen.
Okay, I think I'm going to ask everyone to remain standing, I believe. We'll have Diana, would you mind leading us in a song? Did you want to come up? All right. All right. Can you come up on a beamer? Yeah. Well, they want to see it on TV, on YouTube. And hear you, yes. We have to think of our home audience.
Okay.
What page?
Oh, it's.
Let them know. Let them know.
What page is it?
Wait a minute, he wants to know what page it is.
I don't have a page.
No, Diana, let them know.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom, ve'hamidenu malkeinu l'shalom. V'yavishenu v'shameha, v'yavshameha, v'yavshameha. Amen. Shelter us beneath thy wings, O Adonai. Keep us our wings, O Adonai. Keep us safe throughout the night, till we make with morning's light. Keep us daily wrong from right, O Adonai. Amen. 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 Amen.
Shabbat shalom.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Okay, I think Herman's trying to remind you, please take